Hi, welcome to the Snack Challenge podcast. This is the show where we speak with the founders of some of the UK's most exciting up-and-coming food and drink businesses. Let's get to it. We've got a treat for you today. We are speaking with Ugly Hugh Thomas of Ugly Drinks. We're going to be hearing all about what it's like to go up against the giants of the soda industry with their sugar-free, no nasties soda alternative. We're going to be hearing all about what it's like to set up a business with one of your best mates, working across 2 time zones, London and New York. There's loads of good stuff and insights packed into this one for you today. Let's get to it. Hi, morning. My name's Rich and we're Consumer Hub. We tell your story out to the best people in marketing, innovation and sales, and we are with Hugh Thomas today of Ugly Drinks on our Snack Challenge podcast. Hugh, very good to have you on the show. Really excited about this podcast. How are you doing this morning?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Richard. Thanks for having me. I'm in sunny New York, so it's nice to be talking to you across the Atlantic.
Yeah.
And hoping you guys are doing well, obviously, given everything that's going on.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, I think things are starting to creep back into life a little bit, which is good. But to be honest, that's been less of a worry than lockdown fever. How have you been finding the whole lockdown experience in your apartment in the US?
Yeah, it's not been the easiest few months. Certainly, like running a small company in 2 countries from this apartment is not what I was imagining I'd be doing when I moved to America. And yeah, being away from family and friends in the UK is tough. And not quite sure when I'll be able to get back yet, but 7 months since I was last home. So it's been difficult, but I think what we'll all find is that it's a good period of reflection, period of resilience building, and hopefully in like 3-4 years time, we'll look back and be like, well, I actually learned a lot and grew a lot in that period, despite how unpleasantly painful it is in some ways right now, right? So yeah, that's how I'm feeling about it. I don't know about you guys.
Well, yeah, it's funny. Adam and I, business partner, we've been trying to move house. So obviously being self-employed, the mortgage brokers and all the big companies, they're sort of scrutinising us intensely. So trying to juggle family life and running a little recruitment company, and then all the kind of stress of moving's been an interesting one. But it's one of those, I just kind of think, well, on a bad day, it gets you, doesn't it? On a good day, you roll with it and you think, well, yeah, I'm blessed with what I got. You just got to crack on and look to the future, don't you?
That's it. No, I think there's lots for us to learn from this. And, as you guys, once you have navigated that, you look back with a lot of sense of achievement, right? That you managed to make something happen, and it can only get easier from here, right? In anything we end up doing in life.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. So Hugh, tell me a bit about Ugly. I mean, I've been following you guys on social for a while and I absolutely love the brand. I've got loads of questions for you about some of the quirky things that you guys do, like your merchandise, which I'll get into later. But just for any of the people watching or listening who aren't familiar with Ugly Drinks, just give us that headline on what you do, what you're all about as a business.
Yes, so Ugly is a flavoured sparkling water business. We're obviously international, so I'm in America, but we also have a UK business as well. I'm obviously British. We started it back home. Joe, my business partner, co-founder, and I became frustrated with the overconsumption of soda. We felt that people were drinking hundreds of grams of sugar in every can, in every day. And also artificial sweeteners and nasties like that. And it was a massive issue. I mean, there's 10 million people in the UK pre-diabetic. I think it's like 100 million people in America. So the problem's huge, and soft drinks and soda causes so many issues. And you can see recently in COVID, obesity and general health is causing a lot of problems with that as well. So how can you create a canned drink that doesn't have any of the bad stuff, but still tastes refreshing, tastes full of flavor, and has a brand that's fun? And that's kind of where the idea came from. So Ugly is a 100% natural fruit-flavored sparkling water. The cans have, which you can see behind you there, Richard, no sugar, no sweetener, no calories, nothing artificial. So it's flavored sparkling water. And then Ugly stands for the ugly truth. So we're there to kind of stand against the status quo of what's gone before, which is why we market in different ways. We do different things. We're quirky. We're now sold in about 15,000 stores internationally. We're available online, uglydrinks.com, everywhere in the US, everywhere in the UK, on Amazon too, Ocado, everywhere like that, and then maybe in your local store. And the dream for us is to be as available as a can of soda. So if somebody's looking to pick up 35 grams of sugar in a cola, why can't they just pick up 0 calories, stay hydrated for without that damage? So that's kind of the vision.
Smashing. That's a really just great vision. It's clear as well. It's great. When we were sort of shopping in Tesco's looking for the product, straight away it just stands out. It's it's not a wall of red because it's not Coca-Cola. But the blue.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
The wall of blue.
It's very clear. And one of the things I was going to ask you is, so the flavors that you get then, like it's not juice, is it? Is it essences or oils that you use to get the flavor?
Yeah, exactly. So what we're trying to replicate, I guess, on a big scale is if you were to leave fruit in a jug of water, right? So slices of fruit, infuse it. So instead of using juice, and obviously juice has calories and sugar in it, we wanted to just replicate infusing the water. So we use essences, oils, extracts from the fruits to infuse the water so that it's 0 calorie. And then, essentially you can make any flavor you can imagine. So we use natural flavors. We've recently in the US just done a cherry cola flavor, which is 100% natural. Yeah, so we hopefully will launch that in the UK sometime as well. But we're experimenting with kind of trying to make some flavors that remind you of soda, remind you of those classic soda flavors that if you're trying to be healthy, maybe you can't drink anymore or have stopped drinking. So yeah, that's kind of what we're trying to replicate. And in the UK, we have slightly different flavors to the US, but the idea is that we'll keep adding more and listen to what people want. So if everybody in the UK tells us they want a cherry flavor, then maybe we'll make that.
Great. That's quality. So it's something that comes up as a bit of a theme in our podcasts, and I always love asking is basically, what's the dynamic between you and Joe, the founder, and what's your story on how you started working together?
Yeah, so Joe and I met working in our last jobs at Vita Coco, which is a coconut water company. Yeah. So we were both in our very early 20s when we worked there. That had started in the UK. We spent 3 or 4 years working there together. Joe on the sales side, myself on the marketing side. So we had these complementary skill sets. Became best mates in the process of kind of hanging out in grocery stores, going to the pub, having business ideas, talking about what you do next. And once you've worked in an organization, a team like that, it's so infectious. You're like, maybe we should give this a go ourselves. Both had a shared passion for sugary drinks being bad for people. We saw people were picking up coconut water because it was healthier, but we felt that there was a better alternative to soda even than that. And we decided to start the company whilst we were in our jobs there. And we really just split up the jobs. Like, there's 20 things to do this week. You do those 10 things, you do those 10 things. And then obviously as it's developed now, Joe's been looking after the UK business. I've been in America. I'm, now CEO of the business because we felt it helped to have one person making decisions, but we've always been collaborating. We shoot messages back and forth. It's been tough because we've not seen each other now for 7 months since we were last in person together. So running a business virtually has been, a stressful experience. So yeah, that's kind of how we've been working. And it's been a journey with so many ups and downs for us both. So, it's been a hugely big learning experience personally as well as professionally. So we've come a long way from being in our early 20s, now in our early 30s. We started working together almost a decade now. So yeah, we know each other pretty well, as you'd imagine.
That's cool. That's great. Yeah, Adam and I worked together before we set this up, and it was good actually because although we're very close friends now, I'd say he might disagree. He's shaking his head vigorously in the background. It was good.
I can relate.
Say that again.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
It goes beyond, doesn't it? It goes beyond friendship. It's like being siblings or something like that, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, that's right. But it's good because you've got that level of trust because you just know how that person works and operates. I think there's some of my best friends out there. I won't name names. Dan, if you're listening. But I wouldn't be able to get into business with them because I think our styles would clash too much. But it's important, isn't it, getting that dynamic right? Obviously, say you used to socialise and go to the pub together. What do you guys have as interests outside that keep you grounded? Because I can imagine in the intense kind of startup life you have that it can be all consuming if you don't have an outlet for other interests.
Yeah, it's definitely instantly to those outlets. I'm sure you guys can relate. I've always loved food and beverage. eating, drinking. Lucky to get a bunch of travel to different places as well. So we went to New York together initially. That's when we kind of first said, wouldn't it be cool to launch a business here? We were also lucky enough to go to Tokyo and like hang out with the Vita Coco team there. So
nice.
Traveling was a big thing. I think that's one of the things I found hardest about COVID is the lack of travel and lack of exploring, because that's kind of what gets me going. So we've always loved doing that together. The last time I saw Joe was in February in Arizona when we launched in Arizona. Oh, yeah. So that's pretty cool, right? Having starting this around a kitchen table in my apartment in London to be launching it in Arizona. And we were there in the desert, selling Ugly was a pretty wild experience. So
cracking some cold ones.
Yeah, but I think the experience of me being together in Arizona was like the best bit of the whole business, like visiting these places that you never thought you'd get to go and see, but all because of we took the risk to start this thing around our kitchen tables.
Brilliant. So what have been some of the highs and lows in the last 5 years then?
Oh, there's so many. Production runs usually create most of those highs and lows. So we've had early on when we were first starting out and we maybe couldn't work with production facilities that were as established or as well developed as others. We had full production runs go wrong, and we had thousands of cans that had to be disposed of. Certainly our first production run in the US was tough, and you get a phone call from a factory that says all the cans are leaking, or you've made 300,000 cans, right? You can imagine that's an issue. So we've had to navigate so many of those things, and I'd say, navigating having a virtual relationship with a co-founder has been very hard. I mean, it's always hard to know how someone's day's going, how their week's going, how they're emotionally doing. And so we've learned how to do that. But yeah, I mean, for anyone thinking about doing what we've done, definitely not as easy as I thought it was going to be. And I thought it was going to be hard. In terms of highs, I mean, there's been some amazing moments, I think the best highs are like any time we see someone drinking Ugly in the street. I still think that's the best moment of the whole thing. Or when you see an empty can of Ugly in a litter bin in the UK, or trash can as we call them over here. What you realise then is that somebody's parted with their hard-earned money to buy what we came up with. And I just think that's always the best moment. And sometimes I'll be in a grocery store and watch someone at the shelf deciding what they're going to pick up, and I want to go and tell them, but actually the satisfaction of watching them go, actually I'm going to pick Ugly up, give this a go, it's pretty awesome, because people work hard for their money. So I think when Joe and I have seen those moments together, that's the moment where you're like, wow, like we created this thing that someone just spent money on. Isn't that insane? So yeah, that's always pretty good. And obviously some winning listings with some of the like shops like Tesco's, where we've shopped since we were kids as well. It's pretty cool too. So we're nowhere near where we wanted to get to yet. We're still like very early on in the journey, but you have to look back and go, you know what, like given that we started this like in our early 20s around a kitchen table and a couple of beers, to be selling in Arizona now and launching there is pretty wild. And like there's other states in America we've been to as well. And I think that's been a pretty amazing experience for us in general as people.
Brilliant. No, that's very exciting, and getting across the pond as well. I mean, that's pretty cool. Did you guys sort of bootstrap it, or did you go straight for investment? Because that's always a bit of a choice, isn't it? When you found it.
Yeah, it's a good question. We bootstrapped the first year whilst we were still in our jobs. So Joe and I were doing it like before work and after work, hustling really to make things happen. Phone calls, like taking the odd meeting outside of work that wasn't really anything to do with that. But work was very supportive when they did, and ultimately we did tell them. They were very supportive of us going, it's very different to going to a competitor when you're going to start your own thing. And remind me the question again. I just got drifted thinking about that time.
Bootstrap it or go for investment straight away? And because I think I read you'd gone through some investment sort of raising, had you last year?
Yeah, so we bootstrapped, and I think for anyone looking to raise money, it's all about proving out. And like every time you raise money, you're trying to show that it's less risky than it was before. So obviously, Joe and I made the first investment with some savings and some salaries, like buying a website, buying a trademark. And then we went and raised money from family and friends, and we did a small family and friends round. It was like a bunch of people, like people my dad played golf with, like Joe's got a big family, so luckily they all got involved.
bring
grandparents. Yeah, a bit of everyone. There's a bit of everyone like putting small bits of money in, and that's always been very special to us because we're protecting that investment and trying to turn that into more money for everybody. And then as it got bigger, we realized that in order to make money from a drinks company, you need to sell a lot of drinks. In order to sell a lot of drinks, you need to do marketing and have a team. And since then, that's why we've raised money to do what we're doing. And so that's been a big part of the journey, is raising money, and we've brought some amazing investors in alongside as we do things. Some people who've been there and done it, some other kind of bigger investors, but I feel like a lot of responsibility when you take someone else's money, and we're very thankful that we've brought in amazing people who supported us, but also backed us to bring our vision and our dream to life, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. What have you found have been some of the challenges around navigating going international and still keeping control of things? Because I mean, you guys sound very tight knit. I can imagine that just naturally the time zone difference itself is going to like just peel you apart a little bit.
Yeah, I think the time zone's the thing you don't necessarily think about when you're making the decisions. Like America sounds great until somebody's in California and someone's in London, and then you realize it's an 8-hour time difference, and it's totally disorientating. Yeah. Certainly when I first moved to America, like living in New York and having a 6-hour flight home isn't that scary. The 5-hour time difference and waking up when half the day's gone, and also at 6 o'clock, if I've had a bad day and I want to chat to someone at home, they're probably asleep. Those things take a long time to get used to. And I think that's kind of taken us to get into a rhythm. I also think when I first moved over, it was like when I'd wake up, I'd be checking emails from the second I woke up, right? Because there's emails to look at, or WhatsApps to look at, or things have happened in the news. And slowly, as I've got more used to living in America, I've got used to the fact that, you can't control it. You just have to like live at your own pace, because, I went through a bit of burnout early on as I tried to live 2 time zones as maximum as possible. So we both had to learn that. Joe works late evenings the same way. I don't think either side's great. So it's just a stretch. In terms of keeping it coordinated, the big thing is having very strong brand guidelines and a very strict approach to brand development and making sure the brand stays consistent everywhere. I'd say that's the most important thing. And then just having a great team of people who also put in crazy hours and crazy work ethic to what we're doing is a massive part of the Ugly story and Ugly journey. So that's been a big part of it. And I think we're still learning, and certainly COVID has put a whole nother set of challenges in where we can't actually meet face to face. We'd previously maybe fly across every 3 months, say 2-3 months, but now that's on hold, obviously, for the moment, for obvious reasons. So we're just navigating what a remote company looks like, and I think a lot of people are going through the same process.
Yeah. Something that comes up a lot when speaking to entrepreneurs is, the thrill, like you mentioned about seeing your product in Tesco's, where you used to shop as a kid, that first big listing and win. How long did it take you to get from the independent sector through to mainstream UK grocery, which is a real coup, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely challenging, and I think the real work starts once you get in there as well. It's definitely not the end goal of getting in there, because you actually have to make it work, and the standards are very high. So that's kind of what we're doing every day. But I'd say it was about 2 years from the first launch to getting in there, which is relatively quick. We had to do a lot of networking, a lot of building, a lot of learning. You've really got to think about what they're looking for, what they want, why they want it. And then obviously once you go in, it's like, well, here's the standards that we expect, right? I guess it's like joining a big sports team or something like that, right? It's like the bar just got raised of what you need to deliver. And so that's, if anything, you then get fit. You need to stand, you're standing then at the bottom of a big mountain. And I think Ugly being international and stretching ourselves has been having to juggle a lot of those things in 2 countries as we develop. So it's not been easy, but I think we've learned a lot, and like the power of these retailers is massive. And I think the public in both the US and the UK has seen recently how well organized these places are, as they keep shelves stocked full of food and drink without really missing a beat. Really, they had a couple of weeks, but pretty incredible, really, that the food supply chain works like it does. So we're just a small part of that.
Yeah. No, that's great. I think it's interesting there. You've clearly got a very healthy respect for those standards as well. You know, you're a challenger brand, but you're looking to play in the system as well, rather than just be complete mavericks. Because sometimes there is a bit of a kind of class of outsiders feel about the startup community, and I do wonder if there has to be a mind shift once you start to work with the mainstream retailers, because at the end of the day they've got very established ways of working, and they've got the space, haven't they? They've got the faces, they've got the footfall.
That's it. They have a lot of power, a lot of control, but they also are the pathway for us to, go out and deliver the mission that we set out, which was let's help people who are picking up soda to pick up something healthier. And where are they buying soft drinks? In supermarkets. So how can we play in there? How can we be nearby and look better? And it's going to take us real time. It's going to take time and a lot of energy to get us to that place and get us to that space. But we're very excited about, the potential for what we're trying to do and how big it can get. And in America, that kind of move from soda to flavoured sparkling water is already happening at a big speed. So we're hoping the same happens in the UK soon as well.
Fantastic. Yeah. You might want to tell me this, but who came up with the name? Was it you or Joe Ugly?
It was a combination, really. And one of our investors, a guy called Mike Nash as well, was part of the naming process. We had a list of names on a piece of paper, and the one name that made us feel something, it made us feel nervous, it made us feel excited, was the word ugly. And then it was all built around this idea of, transparency, honesty, not over-promising with like, going to give you wings, we're going to make you stay up all night, we're going to make you beautiful. I think we just wanted to tell it as it is. It's flavoured sparkling water. It's going to refresh you. That's kind of all it is. We're not, loading you up with sugar or any of the bad stuff. So that's been a big part of mentality all the way through. And Ugly turned out was easy to trademark, easy to get a website for. The word's easy to remember, and whether people like it or hate it, you don't forget the name, right? It stands out, and you double take when you see it on shelf. So we've always loved it, and I think it's represented internally at Ugly with the mentality we have around being disruptive and doing things differently, which is what we try and do every day.
And you've had some really sort of quirky, marketing ideas. I mean, one of the things that you seem to have done is you created a lot of quite distinctive merchandise, which, it seems like a great success. There's a lot of people tagging themselves in it on social, and they're like, where did that idea come from, and how has that sort of evolved for you? Yeah,
I mean, the merchandise is just at the beginning as well. I mean, and when we've started to see with people writing in, I mean, the number of messages we get on Instagram. If I check now, there'll be someone asking for a hat, or can I buy a hat, or can you make it this jumper or this T-shirt? We realize that people want to be part of that disruptive status quo that we have, and they want to wear the brand as well as drink the brand, and that's just been awesome. And like, there was probably a 12-month period where I didn't take the hat off, and I think people love that it says Ugly. They love the logo, they love the design, and we're actually going to be launching a new range of merchandise in Q4 this year in both countries, which will be stuff that people actually want to wear. It won't be traditional. I say that people want to wear.
Do they not like the other stuff?
No, they love that stuff. You know what I mean? Just like, it's not going to be like bog standard T-shirts, which we will still do T-shirts, but it's going to be well designed, well made, proper quality. And something that you might, want to be seen in, and want to gift to a friend or gift a family member at Christmas time. So that's like kind of what we've been working on, and we've been going back to the drawing board to really make the merch even better than it has been, because it's been doing so well and people love it. So it's just cool to think that there's someone out there walking down the high street now wearing one of our hats or something like that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
From this crazy idea.
Flying the flag.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
Well, all this chat is getting me thirsty. So I've got a couple of the drinks sat in the fridge. So got went down to Tesco's, my local one in Batley. Bit of a shout out there to the Batley Tesco boys. So we've got Ugly Peach, and
love it.
We've got Tropical. Just put it up there so all the guys can see.
Yeah,
fantastic branding.
They look nice and cold.
They are still very cold. Yeah.
Ice cold. Love it.
I think there was an interview that I'd read that you'd done where you said that you still wanted to give people the cold can moment, which without all the sugar. That really struck with me, actually. That's it,
because I think when people are growing up, There's a nostalgia to like having a can of soda or something, ice cold, a cold can of beer. And there's something about having a can out the fridge, opening the can, that feeling of the first couple of sips that is quite a special moment. It's a nice break in the day. It's like a treat yourself, but I wanted to give people that moment without costing a fortune and without any bad stuff in it, really. Pretty much everything else in a can for the last 50 years has had bad stuff inside. But actually the can is an amazing piece of technology. It's fully recyclable. Our cans are infinitely recyclable. You can crush them up. They get cold really quickly. And when you open it, they make a cool sound. So why I don't know about you, if you're I don't know if you're a soda drinker, Richard, but maybe when I was a kid, I've had the odd can of soda, but I've probably stopped drinking it because you just realise as you get older, you're like, I don't feel as good as I should after I've drunk that can of soda, right? And then you're like, what can I drink that comes in a nice cold can at 1 in the afternoon? But the great thing with Ugly is you can have 8 cans in a day and there's no calories still. So it's like, you can just go through them. And I'm sure that's what you guys will experience. Those are in the fridge now. They won't last long.
No. Well, it's funny you say that because I think, I'm relatively, for a dad, I'm relatively sort of into keeping healthy and fit. And one of the things that I've switched in the last few years is I've gone from having just the classic dad sandwiches that you pack to basically having rice and fish at work. It's much leaner, and so I think one of the things he said in that article is that you wanted to give people that cold can moment without the slump. So for me, I'm not one of these people that wants to skip lunch. A lot of people do because it's all staying on it at work. I'm not like, I just got to have my lunch and have a bit of a break. But just going for some minimalist kind of clean grains like rice, etc. It's good because it stops you having that slump. And I think sugar free as well is big within that, really, for me, because I think it's an example for your kids, isn't it? But also you're just more productive. You enjoy the afternoon more. So
that's it, Rich. You won't give your kids soda, I'm sure, right, as they're growing up. So things are changing as people's tastes change. Your tastes will be different to your parents, I'm sure, who's different to their parents. And I think that is a shift we're seeing in general. And I do think during COVID, you saw a lot of people for the first month or so being like, I'm going to eat Doritos and I'm going to drink soda or eat ice cream. And then you go to month 2 and you're like, I just put on a stone in month 1. So now I need to cut the calories. And if you're sat at home working, and a lot of people in offices as well, we saw when offices were full of people, having Ugly in the fridge for employees stops the slump for employees too, right? Nice. We had a lot of offices. And you're quite right? Certainly as you get older and certainly setting an example, you don't want to feel sluggish. You don't want to feel works hard enough without having to fight against your body as well, right? So that's one of the areas we've seen a lot of people discover our drink is as they drink instead of something that used to make them feel worse.
So what do you recommend? Which one of the ones that I've got, triple berry, tropical, and the peach? What do you recommend to start with?
They're all great. It's like asking which is my favourite child, but the peach is actually the newest flavour, and that was one that was performing really well in America. So we decided to bring it over to the UK. And our fans online said they loved it, so you can see what you think. But it's not sweet at all.
No, it's good though. It's so my favourite flavour drink is elderflower. So my mum used to make it every summer, and it's just like a taste of England. I think it's just really, really classic, and it's got that really nice, refreshing kind of like floral note to it. It's kind of very much in the nose, isn't it?
That's it. And if you're someone who drinks diet soda or soda, the first time you drink Ugly, you might be like, wow, this isn't sweet at all. But once you've had 5 or 6 cans, you're so used to it. The idea of going back to a soda then seems strange. If you start drinking something unsweet, if you did it for 30 days, and then I gave you a full sugar can of soda, you'd just be like, whoa, this is so sweet. And it's made me feel weird. It's got caffeine in it. It's got sugar in it. It's like spiked me. And then like you obviously drop after that. And then the way they design it is that you want to drink another one to keep up. Keep it up. As you said, the way you're eating lunch now is like you want to stay a lot steadier and like not quite feel like you need to have these things or need to have the demand, like the kind of the constant high and the constant rush of drinking something with so much sugar in it. So that's where we're seeing a lot of people get used to what we're doing and change their habits totally.
Yeah, it just very much fits with that sort of overall trend in consumers towards embracing minimalism, I think. Less is more, actually, fewer people in my life, but deeper relationships is, less highs, but actually enjoying those key moments in the day that are treats more and enjoying the subtlety of those moments more. I think I see that in a lot of different things that as a family we tap into now, right from entertainment through to what we buy as a product. And it's, it's about trying to extract the most out of life without sort of sacrificing the next day for it. It's trying to avoid the time with friends without the hangover, isn't it? It's kind of all part of that ethic.
Well, we see a lot of people who've, stopped drinking booze as well, and they're looking for something that you can drink in a can, ice cold, and Ugly's a great replacement for that. Certainly a lot of people pregnant who need to, start drinking Ugly as well as a great replacement when they're out with friends or at home, and you just want something ice cold in a can that refreshes you. And, once you're past that first beer that everyone else is having and you're on the seltzer, you don't really notice and no one else notices. And like you say, you wake up the next day feeling great. So that's the good feeling from that, right? Whereas everyone else has the reverse. So I agree. There's lots of ways cutting these calories and cutting the bad stuff out can then help life in general.
Yeah, I gave up alcohol this year for Lent, and it was great. I went to the pub quite a few times, just alcohol-free beers, and actually, one of the nights I just had it was just lime soda. Sorry, soda. It was just what was there, but it was great because the next morning I got up and had a run with my 8-year-old. So that's just fantastic. But I'm going to get onto this tropical next. Oh no, it's not. I've got the
tropical.
Yeah. I've got a confession for you. I tried the tropical yesterday. It looked too good to. Tropical is my favourite flavour for drinks.
There you go.
And it was fantastic. So I've been looking forward to this moment.
No, it's great. That was we tried to create some of the nostalgia you'd get from some old school tropical drinks in it.
Yeah.
So it has a variety of different fruits, and that flavour's only available in the UK. So I've not had that for 7 months either, and I'm craving it right now. So watching you drink this, it's difficult. But yeah, it's done super well, and again, it's a big popular flavour in the UK in particular. There's a bunch of tropical drinks that everyone grew up enjoying that we try to nod towards anyway.
Yeah, no, it's good. And it does the job without trying to be a copycat, because you got to forge your own path, haven't you? Oh, just on that point, actually, how long did it take you to get your brand visuals to where they are now? Because I've seen some of your older products, and you can see the evolution. Now it's stunning. It's really distinctive. How long did it take you to get through that process to the end point?
Yeah, there's probably 2 or 3 iterations, and I look back now at first designs, and it's just how did I ever put that out there? But I think that's there's a guy called Reid Hoffman, who's the founder of LinkedIn, actually, who says if you're not embarrassed with your first design or your first product, then you launch too late. So you kind of need to put it out there to learn and evolve. Yeah, exactly, right. It's funny, right, when you look back, and then we're always changing. I think if you're not changing stuff, you're not moving forward, then you're going backwards.
Yeah.
You have to keep evolving, have to keep things fresh. That's what the best brands do. They're always evolving. And so about 2 years in, we did an investment round as part of that. Bigger branding agency came in, and we worked with them. And that's what the branding is now. But really, it took a few iterations and really learning about who we were and what authentically was going to be us in the can and on the can that then gave us the brief that the design agency made so special. So yeah, it was a team effort really, and bit of inspiration from Joe and I in our 20s, and a bit of magic from the branding agency to bring it to life. So pretty cool process and fun process, to be honest. Yeah. One of the more fun processes in the whole thing, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, that is, marketing is the fun bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
I gotta
in some ways, yeah.
So it is. You are right. The cold moment is partly about the crack of the can, isn't it? Because I
that's it.
Just if it's a meal deal and there's a pet bottle on offer, my heart always sinks. Who wants to drink out of plastic? Right. Everyone knows it's bad for you. Get it in a tin. It's recyclable. It's not going to be full of nasties.
I agree, and the can's amazing. I mean, the way it's sealed, you don't have to. There's no UV light. There's no oxygen getting in there. The can's an amazing preservative, so it means we don't have to add any preservatives or acids or anything to the drink because the can does the work. Whereas quite often in bottles or glass bottles, you have to do stuff like that because oxygen can seep in. It's just better for the world to have, if you crush that can now, put it in recycling, it'll become another can, right? And I just think that's such a better way of doing things than creating single-use plastic. So actually in America, we just launched a plain unflavored still and unflavored sparkling water in a can. We actually donate money from that to a cause called Oceanic Global that specializes in taking plastic out of oceans. So becoming single-use plastic-free as a company is one of our goals, and we're very close. Our US supply chain is plastic-free now, and the UK is on the way as we just begin to remove it from what we're up to.
That's great. Yeah, I think it's B. Johnson's Zero Waste Household. My wife and I read 2 years ago in holiday, and that really impacted us. And since then, we've been on a bit of a purge as a family. Just trying to, again, it ties into that minimalism thing. Just trying to be less materialistic, strip down on the things that are single use. And I think when people invest in sort of good quality treats like this that are good for the planet, then it's not just a feel good moment, but it actually affirms your values as well and the life that you're trying to go for, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think people are beginning to make better decisions like that all the time. And you'll see that because of a manufacturing challenge in the UK, we had to previously use the single-use plastic 4-packs and things like that. We're about to change those to cards, so the single-use plastic will be gone. And consumers have been asking for that, like the ugly fans have been asking us for that as well. And we've been putting pressure on our suppliers to change too. So you're hoping that if what consumers want eventually changes, and the UK is definitely leading the way in some of those things, certainly on sustainability, the consumer wants eco-friendly stuff more than ever, I think, at the moment.
Yeah. This is great. This is this berry one's is fantastic. It's the other flavours are a bit more kind of floral and subtle and kind of in the nose, but this is like quite punchy. I really like it. It's very distinctive.
Yeah, we're always tweaking these things and tweaking the flavours, and we have such a big range now. But certainly there should be a flavour for everyone, right? And that's kind of what we designed the range to do. And we're always tweaking the recipes, always trying to find the best flavours. Obviously, we have to play within the realms of not adding any calories, and that can be challenging. So that's just something we've been working on.
It's good. I think, having just said that, I think that the peach probably is my favourite of just because I don't know. I just think it tastes very, very English, just very summery. I go through
cases of that stuff. I can drink 8 cans in a day of the peach. Yeah, I mean it's such a great drink, and I've been sat at home doing 12-hour work days in this apartment. I can go through a serious amount of ugly whilst I'm working. And it's just something, it just keeps you fresh. Certainly when it's hot outside and you're trying to stay hydrated, you can just crack a can and you get that sound, you get the noise, and then, it's nice and refreshing and you don't feel bad afterwards. So there's a lot of reasons to give it a go.
That's good. Yeah. And so for the guys listening and watching, they can get your products in Tesco's in the UK. Where else are you listed? How can they get you online?
Yeah. If there's people, I guess most people in the UK, you can find us Tesco's and Sainsbury's. You can get us on Tesco.com and Sainsbury's online as well. You can buy us on Ocado. You can buy us on Amazon. You can buy us at uglydrinks.com. If you use the code UGLYHUGH, all in capitals, one word, you'll get a discount on your first order, which is my code that I give to people. We have everything online, and it's next day delivery in the UK. So it's actually a great way of ordering it, especially if you're trying to avoid the shops because they're a little bit weird at the moment. Then that's a great way of getting Ugly direct to your door without even. So
if you want to avoid COVID and sugar cravings, Ugly Hugh code. You heard it here first.
We'll send you water direct to your door. And if you want to find out anything more about Ugly, uglydrinks.com is a great place to start. You can find us on Instagram at uglydrinks_UK and Ugly Drinks as well, and then we're on Twitter and everywhere else. And if you Google, there's loads of random stuff and podcasts like this one where I've rambled on more than I have on this one, I think. So you can.
I've watched and read quite a lot of your stuff in preparation for this, and you come across well, Hugh. So I won't be too worried about your rambling. It's interesting. It's interesting rambling.
No, it's easy to talk about something you're so passionate about and that people ask interesting questions to. Before we started this, I still listen to podcasts of other founders, and it was always my dream to start a business. And I think, I'm honest that it's a very difficult journey, and I tell the ugly truth, so to speak, about it. So hopefully people get something out of it. I used to get a lot of inspiration out of listening to other people's journeys as well.
Yeah. And just finally, kind of any new plans or anything exciting on the horizon that people should be aware of?
No, in America today, we actually launched our third limited edition flavor, and we're looking at bringing that program into the UK next year. We actually launched a marshmallow flavored sparkling water this morning, which should sell out by tomorrow. So
Wow.
It's going fast, it's selling like hot marshmallows or something.
Pink or white?
It's pink marshmallow.
Pink marshmallow, the best one.
But we can make any flavor you can imagine, and I think that's something we're going to be bringing more to the UK over the next 12 months as well. And I think particularly excited to see how that plays out, because it's just fun. You know, we made a cherry cola, we've got an orange soda flavor coming, we have a sour apple flavor. Once they sell out, they sell out, and I think in the UK it's going to go really well as well. So if anyone has any suggestions for flavors,
I'll give you two right now.
I've got elderflower written down. Already, Richard.
Elderflower and D&B. If you get those out, I will plug it.
D&B? All right.
In Wakefield. I'll go for that. I'll be out on the streets repping.
Love it. D&B. I haven't had that suggestion for a while. I actually love that drink myself as well. So yeah, that's what we're saying. We're saying, you know, we might do a vote, what everyone votes for. If you can muster enough votes together to get D&B at the top, you might get lucky. Yeah, we're going to be doing that stuff, and I think we're just at the beginning. So yeah, that's exciting, and yeah, just continue to do what we're doing. And obviously, we have to run the business around a changing world all the time. So hoping everyone listening stays safe and well, of course, and we have to keep our team safe and well every day as well. So it remains the priority before everything else.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. Well, look, Hugh, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for your time. Really,
thanks for having me. It's long overdue. We were meant to talk a few months ago, right? And I think the world
got in the way. What was that?
Quickly. Yeah. So I'm glad we reconnected and made it happen. And hopefully one day we'll be delivering a case of ugly D&B to you. And
yes.
Where are you? Wakefield, do you say?
Wakefield. So Wakey, right? Wakefield. It has an unbelievably high amount of consumption of D&B. Like I swear down, it's the drink of the village.
Is that you driving it?
When you have your chicken,
drink of the village.
D&B as well, you know.
Love it. Well, there you go. Like there's these little things that we can play on. So you might get lucky on that, and I'll let you know. Obviously, you'll be the first to know when that flavour comes out.
Smashing. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a pleasure, Hugh.
All right.
Take care.
Take care, Richard.
Thanks for watching this video, guys. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video. Let us know in the comments below if you have any suggestions. Click the link on the left to check out a playlist with similar videos to this series and check out the one on the right to watch our previous upload. Thanks again and see you soon.